Good evening, heroes and heroines, and welcome to Practising Programming in C, where we're going to do a touch more stuff on Cinera once I've positioned the mic accordingly. I think that's kind of okay. Yes, we are being picked up. We're not quite peaking. I think we should be fine. So, yesterday we got the landmarks to be writing out correctly. We're always verifying the landmarks, and we correctly verify. So the tasks today are to fix locate project, which is like a two-line change. Do the projects loop. So that's looping around if we get edges into the database, which would be interesting to see everybody in. And then we might be able to move on to, surely we'll be able to move on to doing to tackling this stuff, getting the syncdb able to rearrange and delete, to handle rearrange and deleted projects, updating the project entities in the asset block. This person here. So let's do it. Locate project. I think also test generation project 1. Generation 1 project time more than 2 children. It's a risky book code. Right. So let's do this. If we go down to book and just add another project, go down to book and add a new book called Jane Eyre, and just say its title is Jane Eyre. I think that should suffice. And then if we go into cinera.c and tell the init neighborhood, I don't think we actually support adding new projects, I don't think, to the database, so I think we'll have to delete the thing, but let's let it happen. So risky book. Jane Eyre. Now let's just see first of all. Actually, hang on. Should I prevent this from going on? Let's run it, see what happens. So skip project. Yeah, okay. So my guess there is that we're just simply not handling the addition of new things. Which is fine, because we're going to be dealing with that. So we did find Jane Eyre when we were proceeding, which is interesting to me. I'm going to step in and tell you why I think that's interesting. Actually, before I do, let's just run it again. Yeah, so it does successfully find it. So if you look in syncdb, I am going to change this regardless of the fact that it hasn't actually triggered it. Basically, when you come into sync projects, oh, it's not going to do that, is it? This time around. That's true. So yeah, it's only going to, we're only going to the insert project and then skip that parent. So I guess I need to run until we can actually hit this case, which we haven't done this run. So I need to kill it and run it again. And this time we should hit that case. Yeah, perfect. So here we go. The situation basically is This is sync projects. So where's that child 2 stuff? Didn't I have a thing where I said child 2 for something? Where is this? This is in locate project. Where's that? Oh, right. So it's not the sync, is it, that's going to be failing? It's actually this call that I was expecting to fail. So let's continue on to this call. So here we go. We're looking for generation 2, index 2. Now, we're setting child 2 out here. Basically, what I would have thought would fail would be this. Right? Because we're setting child 2 out here. I mean, this ain't going to be right anyway. Because we're not supposed to be looking for hero, we're supposed to be looking for code. Well, this is locate project recursive, isn't it? No. So okay, yeah, so we've got no information as to who the parents are. The only information that we've got is the index. So we do have to descend it to everyone. And this is just going to accumulate the children. So if we get into the right generation, we're still not in the right generation. So this is going to have to go again. If it can. Which it can't, so it skips. What are we looking at here? We're still looking at hero. With 2 child counts. Okay, so we're just trying to accumulate into them, aren't we? So we've accumulated 1 generation. We've found nobody in the correct generation. This surely has to change, by the way. In the same way that the other guy has. Because, you know, like if you can't find a child, you're going to return that child. Otherwise, you're expected to kind of come through and skip this child out here. You're going to have a way to actually be able to skip that child if we don't find one. Yeah, same here. Hence the saving off of this, so that we can use that child 2 here. Oh right, it's not let's test, is it? What can fail, I think. Yeah, what could fail will be this test actually, I think. We'd be saying essentially this. I mean, doesn't matter. Let's call it hardware and software. Right, I think this should be able to fail because we've got a third thing. As I say, I do want to, I'm going to change these guys anyway. But I just want to verify my understanding as to what is actually happening. So yeah, I need to run it once, and then I need to get into the thing. I need to be able to get myself into this. Sorry, that's garbage. I want to be getting myself into... No, I just need to get to the locate, don't I? I only need to get to here. Where is it? Is this thing here? Let me just run that again. I sort of missed a bit what was going on there. So this is in locate project recursively. Shouldn't I be able to get into the locate project at least? There's sync DB. On-set default meter for projects. Yeah. What's this saying? No owner set. I mean, I assume it comes through, so. Yeah, right, perfect. So we've got to the locate project. So what are we looking for? We're looking for 1.5. Sounds good enough to me. Sounds good as any index. So we're on the wrong generation. So that's hero. And yeah, as I'm saying, we never set that to something more sensible. So that's just it should be a straight up bug, shouldn't it? Yes, we're going to skip this based on child 2, but when we do this skip again, we just end up in garbage land. So I think that has confirmed. I think it's confirmed that bug. So let's just fix it. Basically, the fix is to rather than saving off these dudes, you just sort of say you do this. Right, and then you're always operating on the child. You're always skipping the child. So you set the child up here. This is fine because it's just accumulating, right? But yeah, if you manage to locate this particular project, then you do that. Otherwise, you have to skip this child, right? And then, by the same token, rather than operating on the actual child here, you do that, right? So you're never actually setting the child to something else, right? So the child should remain valid for this skip call here. Does that make sense? So if I'm not mistaken, we shouldn't hit this failure that we're currently hitting. So there you have it, we didn't fail. What is test? Test is hardware, that's what we wanted. So yeah, we just nailed that. That was just a straight up bug. Found 1.5, proceeding, perfect. So now that we've got that actually working, and yeah, the test wasn't, it wasn't a generation 1 project having more than 2 children, it was actually having a third generation 0 project. Wasn't it? And specifically also, I think it was having a third generation project. It was like searching for one that was also a child of a third generation project. That was the actual source of the error. Because I'll just search in it. Because if you were looking for the third project of the 0th generation, then this loop would have got us into it. This this loop would have got us into it, which didn't exhibit the bug. It was only this loop down here that actually exhibited the bug. Similarly, this one down here. So you needed a way to get into these tests. And I think we've tested that. Might leave that to do there though, just while we continue. And yeah, the solution was just to if that makes any sense. I think it made sense to me. So, no, I'll do the process. I think I might just get rid of the bitwise from the config. And just see, I think the remaining stuff is actually legit stuff. We could add some more of these heroes. There'll be no harm in doing that. So how do we want to order these? I think we want to put intro to C first, so people can watch that. Then they got code. Then I think probably Miss should be last, or although it contains, yeah, Miss last, doesn't matter. And then Ray was a short one. It was programming. I guess it would be appropriate to group the programming ones together. And then say chat is whatever. I suppose actually a default medium is what you do. Right, so then these lot are all programming. Got this chat for the default medium, and then miscellaneous, I can't remember what they were. I think we just, it doesn't matter. Just say that it's that. So we shouldn't find bitwise. Let's just check what happens when we try and do that. It shouldn't die. So, where's it dying? Get project from project. 3248. 3248. What's going on? 32. This is the wrong file. Config.c. Project coming up, we got from the config. Beautiful. What was it again? Get project from config. So there's a get project from config. I guess. Sorry, get project from project, was it, rather? Yeah. So we could actually also say this, couldn't we? That we can at least fail. Those functions are probably going to go away anyway, because we're not going to have that concept of getting projects. We're just going to be looping over them. So, yeah. Right, we're not going to be doing this kind of a thing, calling get project from project on strings like this, because we're not going to have that information. You know, there's going to be nothing to guide us to sort of say, you know, to get those strings from anywhere. I mean, they're stored in the database, but we're not going to bother to use the actual project IDs to kind of set that current project, are we? That'd just been a bit naff. What I'll probably instead do is associate I don't know, associate watch handles with projects and then loop over the projects that they're appropriate for. I think we're satisfied that we are NSync the band. And where was that? Where are we saying we are NSync the band? This is syncdb, okay. So this is a function we're going to be doing shortly, so we're okay to leave that. Right. So let's first of all do the following. Let's just get all of risky actually in there. I suppose we could just use risky actually. Basically all I'm saying is get those guys to actually get processed. Oh, they are doing, so that's fine. I wasn't sure if we had the stuff set right. The stuff that I'm talking about is, I didn't know if we'd set the HTML input directory right for those guys. Owner lineage. I mean, yeah, sure. So that's kind of cool. We've now got a generation 1 Broder's index 5 going in here. Let's try also adding handmade hero. By the way, I should mention I'm listening to a very, very guilty pleasure of mine. It's the Jesus Christ Superstar soundtrack. Probably the guiltiest of guilty pleasures that I listen to. So we're failing. And this is in a neighborhood call on line 8936. Yeah, of course. I guess technically you really need verified landmarks to also print the line number, don't you? and print it. Oh, yeah, I can't actually do that, can I? That's unfortunate. Print function name doesn't actually take that stuff. So yeah, we're gonna have to, unfortunately, cheese it a bit. All right then. It's kind of nice that we're also failing consistently, isn't it? I suppose what I mean by that is it's nice that we're never crashing, basically. Right, we're just legitimately failing to verify the landmarks. So it's here. I suppose it's not telling us how we're failing, is it? Which is a bit of a shame. Well, it's only failing for this reason. Can we actually print out the block? Yeah, can't we just do that? So yeah, we're not expecting to see Cinera Risky in Hero. We could conceivably see Cinera Strike Patreon. So that's 1, 1 and 0. That's as expected. 1, 1 and then 0. We have got a -1, so is it failing? Is the test incorrect, basically? Right, because this all looks right. We've got 1, 1. Basically what we're expecting to see, if it's right, is all of the project indices to be grouped together with their entry indices in order. Right, that's basically what we're expecting to see. But this is claiming that something is out of order. I mean, I guess we could actually say what we found, couldn't we? Print landmark, next project. Is that right? Do we have this? I suppose it doesn't matter, we could just make it if we don't. What is this going to do? It's going to print the entry index and then that, and it's no new line, okay? probably it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I suppose also let's do that after the assets block. So it's testing where's the verses? Oh, the verses here. So yeah, we're testing this 1 1 0 versus 1 5 minus 1. Yeah, so that is a perfectly valid previous and next. Oh, sorry, current and next. So our test is busted. So it's going to be valid it's going to be valid if the next one is greater than or equal to the current one, right? If that's true, actually, maybe you test it the other way around. If the next entry index is greater than or equal to this, then you go on and check the product indices. So yeah, if they're greater than or equal, right. So if this is greater than or equal to this, yeah, we just can't guarantee that though, can you? Because if it is, you need to also make sure that that is great. Right. This could be greater than this, but this could be lower than this. If this is greater than this, then you can go on to test if this is greater than that. If that isn't greater than this, then if that isn't greater than or equal to this, then you're already failing. Right. Do we just need to split out the test? If that's greater than or equal to the... Yeah, I think I'm going to have to split this out. Although it might turn out that I can actually bring them back in line again. project indices differ. That should come after that, or that should come after, or be equal to that. If that isn't the case, then we're in the situation where it could fail. If that is greater than or equal to that, if it's equal, is that right? Well, hold on a second. Why don't you just sort of say this? Right, if the next should come before that, then this is failure. So that's a straight up failure. Otherwise, if the next project, sorry, if project indices match, do I have the project indices match? Right, then this is failure. Everything else is success. Isn't that right? Obviously, you'd want to actually do this a bit more sensibly. You just write it in the one test, but well, this is the logic, isn't it? If the next project should come before the landmark project, that's a straight up failure. If the project indices match, or if the next should come after, then it's automatically okay. If it's the same, however, if it's the same, and the next entry index is less than the landmark entry index, then that's failure. So I think this is the case. Let's see if we actually get through. Blimey, I haven't done that for a while. Hopefully this is all HMM __ hero, by the way. Yeah, that's a relief. So I forgot to Sprite Patreon. So apparently that's not popping up in hero. That's not what it's not popping into. That's fine. But the send dial is popping up in hero and in risky. Yeah. Now you can sort of see we've got 730 people in this, in code and in risky. I think, although that was pretty quick, wasn't it? Didn't spot anything particularly untoward going on there. I think we'd want to speed up the project rangefinder Yeah, so everything seems perfect. Let's just get this into one line. Oh. Delete stale assets, interesting. So what's that failing on? I suppose we haven't looked at this for a bit, have we? Dude, how's it going? Locate first asset. What is that saying actually? It's caused by read memory access. Well, no, yeah, so I assume we just haven't got a project, an asset. Yeah, unfortunately, it's still this guy's using the DB metadata buffer. Oh, it's only a short function, so maybe we could get away without. We could probably, yeah, rewrite this. Just just operating on pointers. I mean, we could also, for that matter, probably, because we're not dealing with. Yeah, I don't think we're dealing with the asset itself down there. So we can just say the following. The asset is this. Forget about that. Isn't that right? Yeah, I think this is simply doing exactly the same. This is just redundant stuff, isn't it? Essentially. You know, setting this from that is the same as that. So let's screw that. We've got the assets block asset count. So if we've got an asset landmark count, tell you what's interesting about that actually, that was setting this from locate assets block probably needs to happen here. That's probably all that needs to actually happen. For some reason it hasn't been located yet. My guess is that. So that's with that. That's with that. The asset location is asset deletion locations. Okay, fine. So this should get the asset. The deletion count is equal. What? So the asset deletion is the asset deletion count. Oh right, I see. It just needs to be that. Probably casted to a card as well, actually. Star. And then we just skip that asset. Okay. I think that's okay. Does that build? Yeah, it does at least build. Bytes into file. So we have set that assets block pointer signpost up there. Set file edit position for that. Double check if this corresponds to deletion here. So, I mean, we are using the pointer down here. Should we just try and run it, see what happens? So, dying and skip asset now. So doesn't this suggest that the database is busted? We're going from initDB. Right, yeah, it's the init. I suppose that could be, yeah, it could be just a garbage, could be crashed here, didn't we? Yeah, this ain't going to be right. Cinera __ hero.css and then not enough stuff. Yeah, that's definitely not correct. So let's remove this. Let's remove our test. So we were correctly producing. What we did was we let's do exactly what we did. We had risky in there. Unfortunately, we're still doing it piecemeal because we're getting this working. So we've got that in there. We've got hero code. I think we had hero chat. Sorry, hero array actually I think we had. It's possible that this was actually the failure point. Yeah. So yeah, it's still dying. Interesting. So basically, it's you've got two different. Let's try it. Let's just see if we can narrow it down, and just add stuff from hero. By the way, Jesse, I kind of mentioned earlier that I'm listening to a properly guilty pleasure of mine. It's the soundtrack to Jesus Christ Superstar. So it doesn't like adding a second. Let's just see if that is actually the case. It doesn't like adding a second one for the same person. Yeah, it's not exactly that, is it? So here we go. Doesn't like this now. So it's trying to compare 1, 1. Sorry, it's trying to compare 1, 2. Oakley dokley. So yeah, these guys are in the wrong order. And that's uniting Ray. So yeah, if I'm not mistaken, what the actual case is, it's in trying to add it looks like the project rangefinder is busted once again. We should be able to trigger it, shouldn't we? If we try and add risky risky and then risky risk. Yeah, perfect. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Why is it outputting that garbage? Where's he getting that from? Again, it's in delete stale assets. But gosh, where the hell is that coming from? Let's continue checking into the landmarks though. Isn't it weird though that this actually verifies? Apparently. Because you know, we're getting through this call on line 9620. We're getting through this, so we're adding an entry. Now, did we even delete one, though? So we do update the things. We probably need to actually update the landmarks, don't we? What are those guys called? Update neighborhood pointers. Where was that failure? I mean, it could just be a case of needing to do that. It's in sync, isn't it? Yeah, sync DB to input. If we've deleted all that we inserted, in either case, we need to generate the search page. Let's see if this actually passes now. If not, then I might just test if we just, you know, test if we've deleted, basically. I think I did the right thing there. So it's compiling and deletes the last, yeah, so it's the call on 9630. Can you have delete, like, can there be stale assets even after insertion? Not sure. Yeah, still doesn't like it. Well, what have we got here? Okay, so we've got garbage. So failing the landmarks. Print landmark. Amazing. Read of size 4. Heat buffer overflow address. Located device to the right of that region. let's just try one thing here. Let's try and add people such that they will always have to add them before the previously added people. Well, I mean, we can do it with rescue. Well, I suppose there's no entries for this. Let's do hero Ray. That was the order, wasn't it? Yeah, let's do Ray code intro to C. Now if things are actually working as they seem to be working, or rather if things are failing as they seem to be failing, this might work. Yeah, it does do. So the problem is in... Also, you can do... can you do this actually? No, we can't do that. So it seems like it's failing. It seems like the process prev landmarks function is failing to output everybody. Is it this test again that's just screwing us over? I think we just want to be able to say if that's greater than 0. Right? So we can at least get the range of the target that's before us. Does that sound fair? Because I think what could be scuppering us is that if we don't pass this test, we're not going to write out any landmarks, right? We're not going to be able to set this. But I think we do need to perform this test so we can actually try and retrieve some stuff from somebody who's before us. So I think that's just what you need to do. Let's try this. Also, by the way, before we continue, look at how we've got a nice little bigger directory structure going on here. It's kind of nice to see. So it's risky and then risk. That can exhibit the failure. So that verifies. And the only thing we changed there was making sure that we could actually process previous landmarks. Okay, so it wasn't that. So that guess was not anywhere near it. Now we've got this situation again, and I think we've got, is risk considered to be no, it doesn't have the counting, the numbering scheme set to something different. Let's just stick with code and array, because we know that those guys are just numbered linearly. Oops. Oh wait, this shouldn't be failing though. Okay. So yeah, it still doesn't like it. So that guess was completely not correct. Isn't it weird that we verified landmarks a bunch of times, but the one call on 9635 is the one that's failing us? So what's different about that one? Yeah, it's this one here, isn't it? Generate search page. Is generate search page screwing us over somehow? This does do update neighborhood pointers. Let's step into this and see what it's doing. Does that sound like a reasonable compromise? I guess we could try verifying the landmarks all the way down here, couldn't we? We do have the neighborhood. I suppose I could undo that, couldn't I? It's just, that was the previous change. So where are we failing, sadly? I think we're failing in a different place, aren't we now? 8209. Yeah, perfect. So yeah, we're failing straight up in this dude. So this is our culprit. Got to be, hasn't it? So what's it doing? Let's step in to see what it is doing. So we need to run code, and then we need to run it with Ray under the debugger. What was that line? Was it here? I think it was, wasn't it? Probably line marks for search, yeah. So we need to get ourselves to here somehow. Perfect. So we're writing past the assets header. Might be nice actually to print the assets header, honestly. The assets block rather. Just so we can see what we're playing with. But we're not. Yeah, it would be sweet if you could just like say down here, right, print assets block, and it'd just do it. Don't know how feasible that would be. Oh. Could this be stale? Well, looks okay to me. Doesn't mean that it's going to always be okay. I guess. So we've got Cinera.css. That's going to be used by both of them. Now we're operating on the DB message buffer pointer. Is that a faux pas? Well, I mean that's using the DB buffer pointer. This person down here isn't. Probably should move away from using that, shouldn't we? But let's continue to see what it's just doing. So having skipped past that thing, we should be sitting at the first landmark. So what is the current project index? We're looking at Ray, aren't we? So it's probably going to be 1, 2, isn't it? Yeah. So let's see how many people it's found in 1, 2. It's found 333 people. I think that's not right. I think what it's done there is that it's found... Oh, sorry, your pardon. The first is 323 and it's length 4. Yeah, that seems fine to me. So it's now trying to find within that... Oh yeah, it's just not. It's just straight up not outputting all the stuff, is it? There should be a line here that's saying output up to the target, right? Because of all the landmarks in this asset, so this asset has got 337 landmarks. It's found that the range for the Ray project is 33. It starts at 333 out of 337. The target for the page type search is going to then be found, and that's probably going to be 333 and 1 probably, if that's correct. Okay, so we're inserting it, right? So we're first of all we're newly producing this file, and there's no landmark corresponding to the index page at this point. So it's just found that 333 is at the start of the project range, and there's no indexes for them currently. So it needs to write out that, and then it accumulates that file size. What is that doing? Size of a landmark times by the asset landmark count taken the existing landmark count. Yeah. Whatever the case is, whatever the hell this is doing, this is just failing to output the 333 landmarks preceding our search landmarks. So that's what's going on. Update landmarks for search. Thought GDB could do that. Oh right, run a program. Oh sorry, run a function. How do you do it? Do it piece by piece. So let's do first of all the size of a landmark. Size of an asset rather. That's probably garbage. Sorry. Do that, and then we accumulate the size of a DB landmark times target first. Right. And then we add to this, accumulating the dude, accumulating that size. And then what you do is you need to output from what you're outputting. You're probably outputting the entire file, aren't you? Is that right? I think this landmark is set correctly, by the way. The only problem was that we weren't writing out everyone. So you write out the asset, accumulate that size. We write out the preceding landmarks asset landmark count plus equal to the assets as a target length. I think we then need to say how do we do this? How do we locate the next stuff? Because you don't want to write out the same stuff twice, basically. I mean, is it just like trailing landmark is equal to the first landmark plus the target first plus the target length? Does that sound reasonable? I guess actually this right, and then you're supposed to write out from those dudes. No, what are we doing here then? I think this is then incrementing gets past the asset, isn't it? How is that actually expected to work? Because if they don't match, wouldn't you want to be able to skip past it? Do you know what I mean? Right, so you do all your stuff in here. If you can get in. So the asset index is the assets block. What I'm basically suggesting is right? Does that sound reasonable? Does that build? Not right, but we now need to actually write out from the trailing landmark the number of landmarks remaining. So how do we know how many we've outputted so far? So target first. So we got the, I mean, yeah, this asset landmark count. Do we have the existing landmark count, by the way? Yeah. The music, incidentally, has changed to some pretty ancient music. Basically, madrigals, really. Are they madrigals? I mean, they're lute songs, is what they are. So yeah, the existing landmark count is what that is. We've outputted what we've got to know is how many of the existing landmark counts have we outputted. So let's give ourselves another value here. Okay. So we've written out, I mean this could all be bundled up, and also that. So that we've got the existing landmark counts, we've written out this number of people, and then what we've done is we have outputted some new stuff here, and then we're saying that the trailing landmark is going to be equal to the first landmark plus the target first plus the asset search landmark count to take away the target length. So I think we need to now modify the to right by this computation here. Now, is that the right way to do it? Surely it is a... So if the search landmark count is going to be... If the search landmark count is currently... If there's currently 2 landmarks for the search page in the new one that we're processing, and there used to be only 1 for that person, then this would evaluate to decrementing 2 right by 1, which would be right, wouldn't it? I think that would be right. So then basically what you do is you say this. It's the it's from, not from there. It's from the trailing landmark. Size of DB landmark. Let's actually do that. And it's the to right. And you don't do that. All this, that's garbage. And then having done all this, you skip the asset. Now, yeah. Accumulate the file edit size. That's a good point. So what this is actually saying... Yeah, that might have been wrong, actually. I think accumulating file edit size should be talking about newly added stuff. So really what you want, the only accumulation is actually, it's none of these guys. All it is that, take away that. Right? It's the size of a landmark times by this, take that. Because that's the only thing that's going to be different. So that's garbage. So what the accumulate file size does is that's the thing that tells us, it tells the update neighborhood pointers how far to offset these pointers, offset these signposts, offset signpost pointers in the file. So essentially, if you can imagine that you've got your buffer, which is what this signposted file is read into. You've got your buffer, and you've got signposts into it that are pointed to various different things. They're basically convenience, really. So you've got a signpost here, right? It doesn't matter what it's pointing to; it's just pointing to something. Let us say that you perform an edit that happens here, and it is of size 1 landmark, right? So you've inserted something in the file at that point. What that means is that this landmark here is in the wrong position, right, relative to the start of the file. So that would have to be offset by this size that you've accumulated. Right? Another part of the cycle signposted file function is that it actually, I mean, maybe the neighborhood pointers actually. Well, let's see. Okay, so this thing, yeah. So when it figures out how far into the file all the pointers are, it then frees that buffer, reads it back in, and then it sets the pointers back into pointing back into this new buffer, which has been newly allocated by read file into buffer. That's what's happening there. And the edit is set signpost offset. Yeah, so this is going to be, this takes into account the accumulated size, which is stored in the s-edit. Now, the update neighborhood for pointers is a different thing. That just, yeah, it just sets these two to, basically we needed a separate function to do this because the neighborhood isn't always available in places where the cycle signposted file function happens. And I mean, that can happen. By the way, this update neighborhood pointers, you might see that I've just sprinkled it around in various places. I mean, it can happen wherever you want. The only thing that you just need to make sure that it does happen. Yeah. So we've done a bit of jiggery pokery there. Let's see if that does anything resembling correct. (8173). So for the asset count, no, write the stuff into that file. Shouldn't we be entitled to continue to loop over the stored assets thing? Shouldn't that work? Is it on an address? Hold on, let's search the 8173. Right past assets header. Yeah, I suppose we're not actually. This could be garbage, couldn't it? And this would only happen once. The failure was on the existing landmark count for the asset landmark count. That doesn't need to happen. So let's just see if that's done anything for us. I think this had failed. Yeah, failed for the first dude. Okay. So let's see what we're doing wrong. So we've got the DB asset, locate the first asset here. We're doing skip asset for each of those assets. We're saying for these dudes in here. So this is in memory, by the way. Suppose we could write out the. I mean, just step in actually. We did change the accumulate file size, didn't we? So that could be wrong. We could have figured that out incorrectly. Similarly, could have written out this incorrectly. But like I say, it's interesting that this skip asset shouldn't work because like we're just dealing with the same buffer, right? So let's see what we're seeing. Something already exists. Actually, I can't see that, can I? Because that's just a bare old pointer. I mean, could be. So having written past the assets header. Yeah, I suppose also the edit position is right up there. Is it? Probably won't make any difference, but it's not up there. Is it? Oh, I suppose it actually could be, because it's you could consider it to be up there because we only cycle the sideposts after having processed all of them. I mean, that looks okay. Yeah. First asset is Cinera.css. 222 landmarks. The first landmark is of generation 1, index 1, entry index 0. Yeah, that sounds perfect. Yeah, does sound perfect. So the existing landmark count is asset landmark count. So that, I mean, we're going to get that, aren't we? So that's fine. So now for the assets counts, remembering this is in memory stored. This is our assets array in memory. This should be like 300 not. And the first one is probably 0, 0, isn't it? So let's write out the asset. You write out from the first landmark the size of landmarks to target first. Right, and then having done that, still needs to write out 332 people. That sounds fine. Now it's going to populate this. Generation 1 and this one. Yeah, that looks perfect. It's either one of them. I mean, I guess at this point, it would be appropriate to do the accumulate file edit size. So the target length was 0, if you remember. Oh, actually. Yeah, that ain't right. Yeah, that's not right at all. Still don't know why we crash. But, well, actually, this is right for this accumulate file size, but this 2 right here will be incorrect, won't it? Because at this point we should still need to write out 332. Target first plus this plus that. So if I'm not mistaken, this should just be 0, shouldn't it? Ah, actually no. Because the target length is 0. So this is, I think this is going to be actually wrong. It should evaluate to 0. Yeah, that's probably our mistake, isn't it? So yeah, we've set the assets landmark count to be something, but we're actually not writing out enough stuff. .332 is the current total. And then 331, yeah, so we're just not writing enough dudes out. So to get ourselves to the trailing landmark, we need to say we can't factor this in. I think, did we just say it's the target first plus the target length? I think that's what you say. Target first plus target length. And that'll be giving us what we actually are talking about. I think this accumulation of the file size is actually alright. Right, because that will correctly tell us that we have inserted a new dude. This is 1, isn't it? Yeah. But the 2 right should actually be the target first. Sorry, it should be the... What should it be? Yeah, it should just be the target first, take target length, shouldn't it? Considering the fact that the trailing landmark will be positioned. Yeah, I think that's all it is. So that's on line 8203. First landmark plus the target first plus target length. Accumulate the size is going to be what it was, what it is currently, take away what it used to be. And then we need to write out the existing landmark count. Take away equals that plus that. Sorry, that plus that. Is that how you need to do it? Does it matter which way you do it? I think you probably do need to say this. So you're taking away the actual... Well, actually, it's not even that, is it? It's just the target length. Right? Because you're talking about... a length. I think that's all it is, actually. Could be completely mistaken, but I think that's it. Now, what do we get? Yeah, let's quit and reload. So 8202 or something, isn't it? Yeah, again, we forgot to look at the accumulation. But having done that, I think we should be able to look at the debugging metadata. That. Yeah, so we've got an edit of size 16. So that's probably the size of a landmark. Can I look at that? Of course I can't. To right. And also trailing landmark. This should be the first guide, shouldn't it? Yeah, intrinsic 0, so that looks perfect. And the 2 right was 332. Target length was 0, so that, yeah, that's going to remain 332. And then we write out from the trailing landmark this number of people. And then let's get the asset. So now what do we have? We don't have an asset. So why don't we have an asset exactly? So we did have an asset when we went in here. We didn't touch the asset until down here. We didn't touch the buffer either, did we? That still looks okay. So has somebody not written out an asset, right? Oh, we have, haven't we? Actually, yeah. That is unfortunate. What we've done, actually. Yeah, we have modified this. This asset landmark is the asset in the thing. So, yeah, that's unfortunate. We're going to increment that landmark count, and then we're going to use that new landmark count in the skip landmark. So we need to set up a different asset to write out. Because the only reason that we're doing this thing here is to write out the right thing, right? But in writing out the right thing, we're actually scuppering our capability to actually skip that dude, skip the asset. So, sorry. Start again. TP asset. Can't I just dereference that asset? I hope I can. If I can't, then so be it. Let's see what happens when you do that. By the way, I'm currently listening to the most beautiful song on this thing. Yes, it is called Sorrow's Day, and yes, I do love sorrowful things. So I did do that, didn't I? So let's try again. Get ourselves into here. That looks okay. Yeah, that seems fine, doesn't it? Like it's managed to get the file name right. So yeah, I guess you just do that. You just totally dereference it, and then you're away. So you increment that dude's asset count, and then you output that person. Perfect. But again, the accumulation of file size. I mean, frankly, yeah, it probably does make a difference. Yeah, it surely does. So let's continue. Where are we now? So we've appended JavaScript asset search. And we're now back here again for some reason. Okay. Oh, it's the second time through. Update neighbor. Sorry. What is it? I think it. If new asset. Yeah, update landmarks for search. Yeah, right. So we just done it again. Because we had a new asset that we added. Yeah, right. This has figured that out. Now we should find that all of these landmark counts are actually the same. So I guess we can see if we actually continue to write the right stuff out. I guess my question is, why do we need to do it again, actually? If there's a new asset, update landmarks for search. Like what can this think it's supposed to be achieving? We do call update asset in DB. Oh, I think I see. So, yeah, I think what happened was we were looping through the assets in the database. That's what it was. We were looping through the assets in the database, but because the Cinera_search.js wasn't in there, we couldn't. This loop would finish before we get to this, right? So in order to actually get this in, what's going to happen here is we've added it, but I don't think we've done the landmarks for it. So that's what's actually happening. We need to, if we continue until we see asset, until the asset is the Cinera search.js, I think we should see that there's no landmarks for it. I think that's what we'd see. You know, whereas for everybody else, there's like landmark count of something. Let's just skip down to this. I can fill it. So here we go. Yeah, landmark count of 0. So yeah, we're just looping through this thing now. Right. It's got a bunch of assets. Just getting ourselves into this actual thing. So the new asset is going to be that to start with. Step over. And now the landmark count of 1. Yeah. And then we're going over doing all these dudes. think that was the last one, wasn't it? And then we verify. We shouldn't find any new assets. And we're away. So, I think we just solved our problem. We should now be able to do the following, shouldn't we? In a neighborhood. This would have failed, wouldn't it, previously? And now it doesn't. Do a preceding person. Project could not be got. Oh, yeah, of course. Intro to C. Blimey. Chat and risk, misc rather. So yeah, we're still going. You can actually run that, build it. And then we have book, code, and reader. Ah, right, it's just book and code. They've got the directories busted. Okay, fine. Let's just fix up those dudes. So they need to be at... Obviously, you'd like to actually fix up the directory structure. So where are they? Oops. In fact, I can just do this. And that's not where they are. So it's saying that they're in. So it's just risky code reader, basically. I guess we can just let the book on fail. Well, screw it. This will probably get down to those guys. And I think this should be correct. If it's not, then it doesn't bode well, does it? If the guy who writes the thing can't even write a thing that works, what hope in hell have other people got? And that did seem to work, by the way. So it did say it did print out the stuff. Whereas in previous runs it didn't. So here's our full complement of stuff. I don't think we haven't got bitwise in yet, but that'll be in there. Pretty sweet to see a load of search pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 2, and 2, 1. Also worth mentioning that something that's kind of interesting about this is that we are grouping the landmarks by generation, but we actually store the project hierarchy by, remember it's a tree, we're storing it depth first. So although we've got like handmade, so that I can just tell you what these are. It's handmade hero code. Sorry. Actually, where's intro to C? Shouldn't that be 1, 0? We've got 2, 0. Shouldn't there be an intro to Z? I'm sure that I did it though, didn't I? Nice printout, cheers. 1, 5. I can understand that being correct. Yeah, I do like my magentas. I do like the colour purple. And sort of delineation kind of garbage. So yeah, it's a Cinera underscore search, what we're looking for. 2, 0. So 1, 1. What is the first one? Intro to C. Oh, I'll tell you what, actually, could be screwing us over. It could be the included file, once again. The included file has so what is it? Actually, it could be not screwing us over, actually. Because there's no projects within this. Project risky. I suppose we don't know actually what is what, do we? Now that I think about it. Well, yeah we do. Because we've got the config printout, haven't we? Somewhere. Well, I mean, we could put it another way, right? Hero intro to C 1, 0. That has been found 1, 0. There's 1, 1. Oh, it's got skipped. I see. Oh, it just skipped the lot. So why did it skip them all? Because Jace isn't tagged. We haven't got one for Jace. Right. I see. So that's fine. That's where the problem's occurring. Let's just get Jace in, because he keeps popping up. We need to get him in. Unfortunately, we've got nothing more, no more information about Jace Bennett. That's all we know is it's his name. So he's a real illustrious person. I think he was actually responsible for setting it all up in the first place. Like he was, he made the first annotation system for Handmade Hero, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Hence the early annotations written by him. Cinera won't be one of those. Cinera's Patreon we probably didn't need for Idra to see. Cinera Hero. So Cinera Hero should have had 1-0. So what are we missing there? So we skip that because of the internet for the winner isn't there? Right. Look at a wheat dog. Really? So fine. Let's just add these dudes. Let's get Effector in there. Effector wheat dog and the internet for the win. Where's Effector? I'm sure we have more information for Corey, by the way. Probably doing this in the most haphazard way you could potentially do it. Oh, so we've got some more information here for Tim. Homepage. Now what? There we go. We've got some 1-0s coming in. So who else are we missing? For intro to see. Possibly nobody. Although if we omit this printout, we might be able to see some more stuff. So print assets block. It's basically we're looking for wherever this call is. Oh, that's not one. Okay. Well, yeah, that's fine. Is this one? Is that under sync? Yeah. So that's the one that's causing us to see all the stuff. To see the nice printout. So we've reinserted those dudes. Yeah, so I think we've got everybody in there now. Now we can actually look at that printout. We are verifying, by the way, so it's as it should be. Sprite send out. I wonder if send out will be the most landmarked one. There's 805 landmarks for send out. Cinera Hero. That's 363. Yeah, we've got the new Cinera search. So yeah, we've got 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 20 and 21. And I think that's everyone, isn't it? think 1.7 is book, isn't it? Which doesn't have any content. It's only got children. Let's just see something pretty fancy before we go. Just make sure that it actually does still work. If we go up to code, if we go up to here and look at the actually we could just change topics.css, couldn't we? Right, we could just check, we could do that and then just see if everybody actually picks up that change, because everybody even uses this. So in fact, that's not a bad idea. We could look at the Cinera topics to see how many of those there are. There we go. So this should be accounting for absolutely every single entry in our entire database. 464, 0 indexed. Yeah, some of them won't have their actual, some of them will have been skipped, won't they? Oh, actually, yeah, we do get a bit fancy even. As you can see here, there's 2, 1. The first one is 3, so probably what that means is that the 2.1th project just doesn't have any topics for the 0th, the first and the second entry. So yeah, this doesn't actually account for everyone. Let me just see if that is true. We want to look for 2.1, which we're saying is risky book reader. And we're saying it's the first 3 don't have any topics. That's what we're suggesting. So there is fabrication here. There is topics. Let's double check. Synoptical topics. 2.1. This is the first one for 2.1. Now, is it possible that we've screwed up this somehow? It's also interesting that this also starts with 3, right? 1, 2 is starting with 3. 1, 3 is starting with 3. Now, isn't that a suspicious coincidence? 1, 4 starting with 3. Yeah, I think we have screwed up. Because you can quite clearly see we've got 1, 2, 3 for the first one. So 1, 0 gets that, and 1, 1. Yeah, 1, 1 also starts at 3. 1, 1, you may remember, is hero code. So yeah, there's no index for the search page. There's no landmark for the search page for a start, because there should be a -1 here. So yeah, I think we have screwed up. So how would that be? It's probably in the range checker again, isn't it? I think all the assets are consistently writing out everybody for the first asset, for the first landmark, for the first project. But for all subsequent projects, 1, 1, I think they're writing out from 3. The Cinera icon filter. Yeah, so this could be conceivably correct. What that means is in 1, 0, which is indirect to Z, right? All that means is that there's no filter menu on this page. The first one with a filter menu is the 7th entry. 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there you have it. There's your filter menu. The 8th doesn't have it. The 9th does. So yeah, the 8th doesn't have it. But the 9th does. So yeah, so that's fine. Cinera player pre. Yep. So the search page shouldn't have a player pre. Where's 1, 1? 1, 1 is here. So that is interesting, isn't it? This one instead is starting at 4. Right, which is 1 more than 3. Cinera player post, yeah, it's the same deal. One. There's no sprite send hours on the search pages, so yeah, this is also going to be starting at 4. Or rather, it's going to be having 0 as the first one. And then these wrong ones are starting at 4 in the same manner. And this, in fact, this is going to be used on all of the hammered heroes. And you can quite clearly see that -1 to 2 are being omitted. So let's run it once more and just see if anybody else gets lost. Right, because it was 3 and 4, wasn't it? So these guys have actually got -1. So that didn't just fix it all up, did it? No, it didn't. It didn't adjust these guys either. Which one did we do? Init neighborhood. We just did hero intro to C. Okay. Let's just try doing hero code. Because that's the second one. I'd just like to see how, if at all, that gets affected. So this time we do actually manage to insert. So yeah, we do manage to produce all of this. Now what does 1, 2? So this remained, right? 0, 1, 0, 2. Sorry, 0. What? Yeah, 0, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right, so that all remained. We then we then generated handmade hero code, and that person outputs with the 0, -0, sorry, -1, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and then all our dudes. Now when we're going into 1, 2, what's the first one for 1, 2? The first one for 1, 2 is now 18. That's a multiple of 3. And the first one for 1, 3 is probably 18 as well, isn't it? Yeah, well, yes it is. Okay, so if we now, I think I'm starting to see what the problem is. If we now just run this again, do we find that this 18 is now popped up to be 21? For hero __ hero.css. I don't think we have we? We haven't. So there's 18. And then 18. But we can test again because we've got enough dudes. We can say we've got 2 and 3 to play with. Sorry, we've got 3 and 4 to play with. So it was interesting to see. I think Ray is 2, isn't it? Right. If we now insert Ray, does this guy get up to 21, and this guy get up to 21? Well, this one, that'll probably have to get. Well, it might even crash us actually. Could it? Or would it just not be right? Run Ray. So we want to see if 1, 3 has gone up to 21. It hasn't. Right, interesting. And 1, 4 is still there. So there's 1, 2 is now got it's -1. It's 0 and it's 1. And it's 2 and it's 3. Oh. And then we've got a 1, 2 with 18 and 19. Which is garbage, isn't it? Because there aren't that many entries in that dude. So what I was wondering was, could the process next landmarks be busted? Or rather, you know, whenever we're processing the next landmarks, whether it's in the the neighborhood landmark thing or the search page landmark thing. Are some of those computations not right? Yeah, unfortunately we've lost the buffer. I suppose we could print out 8 of these in a row actually and just look at it in full screen so we can see a bit more stuff. Not that it'll help us here. Let's add them in reverse order. Why not, eh? So it's misc ray. Oh no, it's misc chat ray code intro to C. I think. What I'm anticipating is that we'll see some of the dudes get lost, basically. Yeah, we already have, haven't we? If you see here, 1.4 has lost its -1 and then it's 0. Right? That's definitely happened there. I can't remember what that said previously. It's, 1.4 is what we're looking at. So yeah, 1.4 had 1 and 2. But 1.4 now has 2 and 3. Oh right, we're doing something. Yeah, we're doing that wrong. Oh. Ah. Yeah, I know what's going on. We're not skipping. What we're doing is, when you do the process next landmarks, right? Here, right? This existing landmark count shouldn't be operating on the existing landmark counts. This should be operating on the project range, right? And then that should do the rest of it, shouldn't it? This guy should be sufficient. Right, because what this is doing here is it's offsetting the entry index of these people. Right, so it's offsetting this value right? This is the blue things in blue are the entry index. These are the project indices, and this is the number of bytes into this entry's HTML file. What it's doing is, when you insert a new entry into a project, you need to make sure that you actually increment the indices of the people after it. But only in its projects, because these are only appropriate in the context of this project. So that's what was going on there, I reckon. And in going over, since we're using a running index, it just keeps on going. And since the project range, since these are talking about an actual index into the landmarks, it's an actual landmark index. It should have got us. It should get us to, you know, in doing this computation here, this first plus length, it should get us to iterate through to the end of the project. Right. And I think it is only process next landmarks that even bothers about that. Because when you insert the search page, that doesn't care about the following things. What is this saying actually? The latter target. So this is saying, so this needs to offset the position. So you do that for all of the latter targets, offsetting the position if that is appropriate. Now, couldn't you just do that without? And in fact, we are doing that, aren't we? We are doing that without incrementing the well, no, we're incrementing the running index here. So what I'm basically suggesting is, couldn't we just compress these guys out? Go over the latter target length, incrementing its position. If necessary. And then come down here and just write out the rest of the project range, incrementing the running index as we want. Right? Because these guys are doing the same thing. I'm going to do that. So we're not going to increment the running index. What we're going to say is, well, it's not even that, it's just, it's like target first plus j, right? If that, do that, and then you're done. Right, so you're not going to increment the running index. That's going to happen down here. So these guys will actually go over more, it'll go over these guys again, but that's fine because they're just pointing into that thing. Alright, that seems right to me. Probably need to redo actually. So again, let's go from the reverse. So we'll go from misc to chat. That's looking okay, I guess. Misc to chat. to Ray. So I think already we saw there was an offset, didn't we? Yeah, so this guy, 1.4 is still okay. Is it here? Yeah. I think we've nailed it. And also you can see that we're always incrementing. I mean, what could have gone wrong by that? So when we do an insertion, by the way, when we do this chat 3 should be talking about okay, so the numbered from 1. So chat is going to be 1, 3. And chat 3 itself is going to be index 4, isn't it? Sorry, it's going to be index 3, 2. It's going to be this guy here. Right, we've inserted this here after having done all of these guys. And you can see that the people following it continue to be going up monotonically. So I think we've done that correctly. You know, we've just, I mean, we don't know if we've done the position thing specifically correctly, but we're at least still iterating over everybody. How many are there? 14, so the top number should be 13. Oh, it's, yeah, it's in hex. Or octal. So, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, and there's 3 missing as well, by the way. Oh, because that comes down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that means the top number should be 11. Yeah. Fine. So that's alright, I reckon. Everybody's looking alright now. Chat. Misc, wasn't it? Sorry, we did misc. We did misc. We've done chat. Now needs to do Ray. 1, 4, still starting from 0, -1. 1, 3, still starting from -1. Yeah. So that's oakley dokley. Next one is code, and then intro to C will be the final one. Still got -1. Still got -1. Still -1. Yeah, so I think we're fine. I think we are in the clear. Yeah, perfect. So that was real handy, actually. Real handy having this printout, just so we could even spot that there was something amiss. I guess you could have checked that programmatically somehow, maybe, but I don't know. Just trying to get risky also. We could add it in reverse, but I don't think it really matters. Probably a good test actually to do it in the other order. So Cinera risky is 1, 5. Yeah, so these guys are starting with 1. Oh, the others were also starting with 1 because they were generation 1. So we were adding them in from the back, weren't we? We were saying from 1.4 backwards. We're now adding forwards, which is a different case, which is still working fine, I believe. And we're not actually testing that this issue anymore because there's no body after these guys. But yeah, everything seems fine. It's apparently put the right stuff in. Some 1.5s, 1.6. And then finally book. Code and reader. Oh shit. Oh, that's okay. All that power. What was that? Was that? Oh, create a new. Yeah, create a new tab. I don't tend to use that one, that key press. So we've now got a 2, generation 2 going in, which is perfectly as expected. Did I see a red thing up there? No. No. So 2.0 and 2.1. Cool. Yeah, so that's perfect. What were the complaints? So it's just saying hashing assets. There's a complaint about book reader.index notice file directory because that's going to create it. I guess technically we don't need to actually produce this error. Although, yeah, probably will, that file probably will be sticking around for a while yet. What we're not getting though, we're getting this weirdness, aren't we? Yeah. Appended that. Tell you what, let's leave that for next time. That could be the intro. The intro to the stream. Investigate scrambled titles, risky book reader, so I hope that's reproducible. Don't know. We haven't done the project loop. We just did more fixing up of asset landmarks actually, didn't we? That's all we've done today. Yeah. Yeah, I think that was all it was. And we spent 3 hours doing it. An odd number of hours. But that's fine. So yeah, let's put that. Well, we don't need to order this. We know that we want to be looking at that next time. Yeah. So thank you very much, heroes and heroines, for being here, for being fantastic, for being beautiful, and most of all for being. I mean, you were valid yesterday. Projected. Would that be reasonable? Yeah, thanks for being projected. Until next time. Farewell for now.